Hey, good morning, everyone. So I'm doing this kind of unexpected, impromptu Sunday morning broadcast because I have a task in front of me today, which I'm not looking forward to. And the task is to set up my solar panels, my solar system on my house. Um, no, I am not an expert, uh, but I guess like one of the things about scientists is that we kind of think that we can do everything ourselves. So even though I'm a biologist, I'm like, yeah, sure, I can set up solar panels and hook up this solar system. And yeah, scientists often think that they can do anything, and then sometimes it takes them a little longer to realize that they can't. Some people never realize it, I guess. So I'm just kind of sitting here. It's the morning. It's breakfast time for me. I have my tea here, and I'm kind of like planning out my day. Like, what am I doing with these wires? I'm sitting here with like a whole box of wires and the solar stuff, and reviewing my notes on what how to set this stuff up. That's not very many notes. There's more on previous pages. But yeah, wish me luck. Hi, Frankman. I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, and then I also have I have like these lovely diagrams of how to set up the solar that my brother has shared with me, uh, which you can see are very like illustrative. Here is another one. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going off of here. Um, oops, not that one. Haps likes to change things around a lot on me. Um, and so yeah, setting up this solar is part of a move that I've recently done, and also as part of the move, I have a different internet, which I'm still kind of learning about its quirks and stuff. I'm I'm off grid now, right now in my current living situation, and so I've been using this internet hotspot for my internet, and sometimes it seems to work really well, and sometimes it doesn't. It's a Alcatel Link Zone 2 that I got through like the Calyx internet project. So it seems to be working well right now, though. So that is great. I'm excited to see that. All right. So, oh, I guess, I should also show y'all. This is kind of the state of things right now in terms of how I've got this is like the back of this is the shed where I have sort of where I keep the batteries for the solar power and where some more stuff is going to get routed today. You can see I also have like a water tank back there for some off-grid water capacities. Frankman asks, solar panels to go on a roof? Yes. So I don't have a picture of the whole house, but the solar panels are going to go on the roof of the house right up there. And then they're going to get wired down into this shed that you're seeing here. And you can see in the bottom left corner of the shed, there's those black things. Those are the batteries. So the solar panels are going to get basically hooked up and they're going to charge those batteries. Right now I'm running off of those batteries, but I like charged them at someone's house. So now I'm setting it up. I'm adding the solar panels into the system so that the batteries will be getting charged by the sun instead of just like an on the grid system. And I actually have one of the batteries here. Let me grab it. These batteries are so heavy. I have 4 of them, and every time I move them around, it's like such a workout. So prepare yourselves for my grunting. Hang on. Ugh. Oh my gosh. So this is what the batteries look like. They're super duper big and heavy. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Yeah, so we're going to be hooking up solar panels basically to charge those batteries. Part of the other thing that I have to set up today is so like between the solar panels and the batteries goes this thing, which is called a charge controller. So I've been like this thing is basically the charge controller. Its job is to kind of tame the energy from the sun before it gets to the batteries. You don't want to like, I don't know, explode your batteries or something. I don't understand exactly how it works. Um, But yeah, so from what I understand, I'm going to hook up, you know, the positive and negative leads for the battery, get hooked up back here. I already, last night, I did some preparation work. I hooked up this thing, which is sort of an optional add-in, and it's a little Bluetooth communicator, so that basically there's like an app on your phone and it communicates with this thing via Bluetooth, and you can check like how much energy you're getting in through the solar panels and stuff like that through this Bluetooth add-in. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to be able to like see what that looks like. There's other like spots for additional add-ins back here. Like you can add a temperature sensor and things like that to make sure it's like not getting too hot wherever you have your batteries stored and stuff like that. So yeah, one of the things to do today is to hook up this charge controller. And the charge controller's partner in crime, if we go back to the, I'll bring up this picture again of what the system looks like right now. On the left wall, there's like a black and blue thing right by my brother's hand. That's the inverter, but this thing is going to get, which is also part of the solar system. So this charge controller is going to get mounted on the wall, like a little bit above that. And the inverter, that other black and blue thing, is something that basically converts the energy from the batteries. Part of what it does is it converts the energy from the batteries to whatever like format your house is expecting. So it will convert it to like alternating current for me, and you know, and then it also takes, I think, like excess energy and puts it back into the batteries in forms of direct current. I don't actually understand that well how the inverter works, but it's an important part of the system, and brother hooked it up already, so I don't have to understand that much about it. Speaking of my brother, he did, so he came for kind of like a whirlwind of 3 days to get as much solar and off-grid water set up at my house as he could. And he didn't have very much time, but the state of affairs that he left things in was like, oh, actually that's after I fixed it, but there's just like, you know, open panels in the wall with wiring and electric and stuff like that. So that's been, you know, that's been fun. Just cleaning up after him has kind of been like a learning process. Okay, so inverter, got to get it set up today, and it looks like the quality is a little bit bad. Hopefully that will fix. What is this? Well, I have this whole box with other little components here. These look like, oh, these look like some kind of like wire connectors. Interesting. These look like connectors that like let, if you hook a wire up to each end of it, then it can kind of like twist and move freely. Oh no, they look like they're supposed to be tightened. Right, well, hopefully we'll figure out where that fits in at some point. So it looks like I have 2 of these really long wires, and they have sort of the similar style connectors to what we just saw at the ends. It's really weird that the video quality is so, I'm going to turn my video off and on again because it says my connection is good. Still fuzzy. Frankman says, how long does a full battery last? Well, it's pretty variable. I can say that I've cut my running time down quite a bit. So the first, I have 4 batteries, and I hook them up 2 at a time. I could have hooked them up all 4 at a time, but I kind of intentionally wanted to have like a built-in warning at the midway point that's like, okay, you've used up half of your electricity that you have allotted to you, and you know, you have the next half of that time to get your solar panels and stuff like that set up. Like I wanted a warning that I was at like, I'd used up half of my electricity. And so that warning for me came after about the first day and a half of using those first 2 batteries. I got a warning, oh, the batteries are too low, no more power. So then I, you know, hooked up the second pair of batteries. That second pair of batteries has lasted now, I think like this is the 5th day now. So I got a lot more savvy about my energy use. And I will say, like, it wasn't like I was just using electricity willy-nilly the first 2 days. I was like, I thought I was being pretty cautious. Like I was, you know, I made like, I think I made a couple cups of tea in the electric water kettle. And but there was one day when I used the lights a little bit and like turn on some vents in the bathroom and things like that. But there was a day where it was pretty hot, one of those 2 days with the first pair of batteries. There was a day that was pretty hot and I turned on the air conditioning. And I remembered I was worried because I had to go in for work, and it was a really hot day and my cat was at home. So I was like, well, I'm not going to be home, but I want my cat to be okay. And so I'm just going to, leave the air conditioning on. I set it kind of high, but I think that that's probably where a lot of the energy usage went to. And so then for the second pair of batteries, I've been home since then, luckily. And so I didn't use the AC at all. And I had I was home so I could have like the doors open and things like that to help keep it cool and not have to rely on the air conditioning. So yeah, and these are 12-volt batteries. So that's using two 12-volt batteries has lasted me like 5 days. Okay, looks like perhaps we're back now. So yeah, I'm kind of just trying to like look through the wires and stuff like that to familiarize myself with how things are gonna go. So like looking at this first diagram again that my wonderful brother sketched for me, we see like there's that one big box that says solar on it that just kind of represents the roof with all the solar panels on it. And then there's the other three boxes in the lower left-hand corner that say charge controller, inverter, battery. That's all stuff that's like happening in the shed with the battery stored in it that I showed you. So I presume that at least one of these long sets of wires, well, not presume, I know, at least one of these sets is going to go like from the roof to the shed. We might have to hook. One of them is just for extension purposes. So we can like connect two of these together if it needs to be longer to get from the roof to the shed. But that's kind of what we're seeing in that picture. And then, I have to hook up the charge controller. The inverter and the batteries are already set up and functioning. And so there's actually some shorter cables I already have back there for setting up the charge controller. So then like most of the work today will be happening on the roof. And we can zoom into our little roof sketch, the next picture that my brother did. And the goal for today is to set up 6 solar panels. And so you can see the sketch of how they're presumably going to fit on my roof. And he has a lot of little diagrams and stuff like that. So like the big rectangles are the solar panels. And they get hooked up in parallel. So looking at some of my other cords that I have over here, and I feel like there should be, looking at these now, which I should have looked at them sooner, I feel like there should be more cords. But like, so there's six solar panels, and we're hooking them up so that they're hooked up. There's 3 pairs that are going to be hooked up in parallel. And then, those in parallel sets are hooked up in series. If that might mean something to you if you've taken physics recently, or if you're just knowledgeable about physics. So these shorter cords we're going to be using to hook up the solar panels to each other, like the pairs of them. From what I understand, I haven't seen the solar panels yet because I'm going in about half an hour to pick them up from the store where they arrived. I don't have a car. My friend is giving me a ride. So gotta go walk over there right after I finish this and get a ride to get my solar panels. But from what I understand, they have like places in them where you can like plug into them. So these are the cords I have that are like this are gonna get plugged into the solar panels. You can see in that diagram We have some other things going on. So there's like the panels, there's red and black wires, which I just showed you some of them. Um, there's also like little circles and little blue dots on the diagram. So I'm trying to remember what is what. I believe that the blue, yeah, the blue things are fuses, and then the circles are Y connectors or splitters. So the splitters are these. I know that because, oh, I know that because that the bag that I ripped them out of says, it says solar Y branch connector on it. So I was like, oh, uh-huh. And it's kind of like, if you look at them, it's like, what else could they possibly be? So I'm going to open it up so you can, so we can both see. This is more fun for me to do with you than by myself. So it looks like you can like, this is a way of like taking like many chords and reducing it down to a chord, right? Because ultimately we have these like chords going around, looking at the different all these different chord groups, like we've got to get them down to just 2 chords, right? Because that's what's getting like piped into the shed to the charge controller. So that's what this thing does basically. And I'm not quite sure how that works. There's like 4 things down here and 1 here. And I don't know how much about like the direction matters or anything like that. It looks like it has a couple like holes here where you can like attach it to the roof or something like that. So attach it down. But it's something I'll definitely have to like phone a friend, figure out what's going on with these a little bit more before I actually get started. But yeah. So there's one of those. There's another one of those. Put those aside. It's kind of like an unboxing video. Come look at all my crap. Bunch of wires. Oh, it's just another medium length cord. So the fuses I mentioned, just these are little blue things in the diagram. I haven't looked at them very closely at all yet. Yeah, so it's slow cable, solar PV fuse, 10 amp. So I guess you can see it's like there's like a slot at each end for one thing to plug into and the other like matching plug end over here. Oh, it sucks that the video is kind of blurry. But those go in between the cords at some sections. So we've got those 2. All right, well, that about wraps it up. I have some other cables and stuff like that that are out in the shed with the batteries and stuff. But having kind of like gone through and looked at everything, I feel a bit more prepared, a tiny bit more prepared to go out and hook up these solar panels in a few minutes. So I don't know what to say, like wish me luck, I guess. I hope that I don't kill myself or explode my house. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that, you know, I'm a lot more comfortable like calculating my energy needs and seeing, you know, how much like sort of square footage of solar panels do I need and what appliances do I need to get and stuff like that. And now that it's actually down to like nuts and bolts literally of putting stuff together, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna screw something up. I don't really know what I'm doing. Even just like, you know, drilling the holes in my roof to attach the solar panels, I'm like, I don't want to like create a hole where I'm gonna get water leakage. Yeah, thank you, Frankman, thanks. I appreciate the good luck. Oh, and my image is suddenly clear. Although I'm a little bit frozen. But that reminds me of one more thing I have to show you, actually, which is the mounting equipment for the solar panels. I'll be right back. Yes, haha, the mounting brackets. So awkwardly frozen on my leg. So the solar panels have to get attached to the roof, right? Another important part. So there's like, so these are like, there's like this little mounting system. This is a, looks like a Renogy solar panel mounting system. And there's just these different brackets that get attached to the roof, and that the solar panels kind of, I guess they probably set on top. It looks like if you screw like these unstable internet connection. It looks like if you screw these like into the roof, then the solar panels like kind of fit on top there, possibly. I'll have to look at the instructions for that too. But yeah, and it comes with like all the little nuts and bolts like I was just talking about. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, thank you. This is definitely, thanks for the well wishes and stuff. This is definitely something that I'll be posting an update on. Maybe at the end of the day, maybe not, because I want to share with you all like a success story, you know, and I have the feeling that I won't get quite as far as I was hoping to today, but yeah, I'm sure that I'll make progress at the very least. So I guess I'll definitely post a progress update today, just as like a comment. And then, you know, I'll let you all know when it's fully successful. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for stopping by, and hopefully this was educational to some of you, or, you know, even though I'm like sort of stressed and in the middle of it right now, sometimes seeing stuff can help you feel like, oh, it's, you know, a reality for me too. So, you know, if you've been thinking about solar panels or getting yourself set up with solar energy or something like that, I can definitely say I'm excited. I'm excited for that reality to come into being, because I think it'll be pretty cool to have like a solar paneled system here, you know, so a solar powered system. And yeah, it's something that I don't know, that I think I'll feel really good about, and I'll be looking forward to and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope that hopefully seeing some of this stuff, yeah, encourages you and makes you feel like, yeah, like it's not that hard, and you know, it's something that you can make a reality too if you so choose. All right. Thank you for tuning in, and